Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. and it's Eastern time zone. As we get to ride home with you in the afternoon, you can find us on television, syndicated on abundant television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Absolutely. We love the newscasters. It's absolutely fantastic. You know what? I get a voice. I don't have to worry, is Victoria going to shut me down or any of those things? And it's just, it's called freedom. I love freedom.
Right. I'll tell you, it's absolutely incredible since Donald Trump has taken office, the freedom of voice. It really is. If we really take a good look now, we can see just what a dangerous course we were on as we look at everything, as we look at the money that's being found, as we look at the ridiculous organizations and the filtering of information and money and everything else. It's just been incredible as to what we have been able to uncover. Across this country, but it goes very deep.
It does, but I got to ask you a question. Okay, so you're running a business. Okay. In the business world, what makes absolutely no sense whatsoever is we are paying a country more tariffs than they are paying. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Who set that up?
Well, the reason why, if you really understand as to why all that was set up, let's look at the numbers. How many millionaires are in Congress?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently there have been a lot of things going on, and a lot of one hand washes the other, and this is where we find ourselves. And truly, it would have continued to go on if not the administration had not changed and taken such a drastic change. It would have continued. But I honestly think, that it was just under the guy, everything that from what I'm learning, everything that went out in bulk for a reason, because some of that bulk was filtered right on back. And that's how, there is a name for it. And they make it all nice and clean and send it back as if it was earned. And a lot of people have their dirty little fingers in the pie of this country. And, it's just interesting to me on how they were able to divert America's attention so much across the board, to be able to pull so much over so many for so long.
Well, I think we know how. What they do is they divert your mind. Okay, so they go, okay, let's pretend people don't know what sex they are. Let's start that. That'll keep them all busy talking amongst themselves about that while we're going and we're playing with the money in the little teal pot over there, and we're taking millions of dollars out of it. They won't notice because Americans are so stupid in their mind.
Right. Well, they started with changing the mind of American people with instant gratification. So what they did with instant gratification is they built a society of people across all ages that could have anything they want for any price whenever they wanted it. Therefore, by creating that whole system within our society, it then allows for a lot of whitewashing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's how we have so many politicians that have been caught doing things, and yet the next election, they're reelected again because everybody's got their dirty little fingers in the pie.
You brought this to our attention. You brought this to our attention a year or two ago, because this is what you were saying. There's a reason they're trying to kill Donald Trump, because Donald Trump had the goods on him. You said that, and you were right.
And it was true. And I knew I had the best laugh. You know when I had the best laugh? When Maxine Waters goes on social media and says, we have to stop that. We don't know what they're going to find. turned on us, I went, bingo.
Guilty. Then you're
bingo. Are you serious? So I'm like, you know what? And let's face it. Let us take a look. I think what is happening is so well needed, because even look at the people in these offices, as Doge go in and has the right to say, stop what you're doing and give me the hard drive. And no, you can't have it. Oh, no, I can have it. You don't have a right. Oh, yes, I do have a right. And what we've done is, if you look across the board, right until our police, until we gain respect back for people who are in positions, we are never going to rebuild and fix anything. Because people just think that if I watch one more woman your and my age being pulled over by police and doing so many stupid things that she winds up in handcuffs because she's so darn arrogant and refuses to acknowledge her own wrongdoing, which didn't have to go to the extreme it went, but it did, because she was unwilling to accept responsibility for herself. And that's what we have. And therefore, that instant gratification wound up putting people in groups. And those groups are the voices that are trying to fight back. But they're not united in any voice, Donna. They're not united in anything. You show me one Democrat who right now, where you and I can say, I'd really like to interview them. I think they've got a lot to offer. Name one.
I can't think of one.
My point exactly.
I mean, this is what's so hilarious about the whole thing, though. Okay, so really, they divide and conquer within their own group. So think about this. Okay, so men playing in women's sports. This is a primary. This is a good one right here. Okay. Where are the bra burning women? Shouldn't they be really upset about it? All of the women livers should be so upset that a biological boy is beating the women in their own competitions. That is just a dumb thing. I'm sorry.
We had a women's fencing competition this week, and she was one of our female fencers in this woman's competition. Was put up against a biological male, and she had said before, because there was a pool, all right, and she had made a promise to herself that if by any chance in this pool she was going to go up against male, she had already decided what she was going to do. It wasn't that she just made a last minute. She knew exactly, and the odds of her getting hooked up with this male was fair. I mean, she knew she was taken. But when she did, right before she took a knee, what surprises me more than anything, what you talk about, the Me Too movement and the silly pink hats and the ridiculous vagina comments and all of it disgusted me to begin with. Okay. All of it. Because at that time, if you remember, I kept saying, what about our middle school boys? We're losing our boys. And nobody wanted to pay attention. Oh, you can use any bathroom. Put your head, you can wear a skirt, put your hair in a ponytail. We had no idea, but we were giving all of this attention to the girls. Well, that's what I want to know, Donna. I want to know over those issues, the attention that you gave them. And now when your voice is needed across elementary schools, middle schools, high school, and colleges, and into our Olympics, we are allowing this. As far as I'm concerned, y'all can compete. Give them a transgender category and let them all compete.
It's simple.
All right. I am not sitting here and then this woman takes a knee because I am with her. No, you're not going to fence this man. He was a failure as a fencer in men's category. So they think their answer is now to get any money, sponsorship, or medals that they can. It's okay to portray as a woman. And it's wrong. So I do want to know, where is the Me Too movement sticking up for our young girls who are all across our college campuses losing their awards, their scholarships, and their medals that they earned? They're being denied. And it is an issue even in our court system. What is a woman? Nobody can answer. Men can't have babies. Oh, yes, they can.
I'm sorry, you really need therapy. If you really believe that, you need some therapy. I mean, it's sad. So what's happened? Okay, so they've been against the white man for a long time, for many, many years. I mean, you're just a loser if you're a white man. Now they're going against women. Oh, we're not going to stand up for it.
That's the thing. I think they're going to have a rude awakening, because I do believe that the Lord will allow things to go so far until the tides again have to change, and we as humans need to fight for what is right and make that distinction. But as long as they keep the waters muddied, we don't have to make any distinctions, and that's probably where they want us. They'll make the distinctions. They'll make all the decisions for us. But that's not where it at. And what they didn't realize is they didn't realize about the internet and how the backlash and podcast is done. I've been made fun of being we didn't even have podcasting, if you remember. We did internet radio. Okay. Internet radio. So my point being is I don't think they realize the impact that it would have on the next generation, where they were foolish because these were the kids that were all raised in the technology. I mean, my daughter's considered the digital age. She was everything. Her whole life has been documented digitally, is the point of that. Since I was pregnant, we had the first new phones, remember? So it's interesting that as much as they want to take us away, even now, if you look at the amount and what Charlie Kirk has done on our college campuses across the United States, he has literally ignited a whole new generation of thinking. And that is to be commended, because what they didn't realize, they thought that they were going to, once the woke took hold, they thought that they had us hook, line, and sinker. There was no coming back. Soon as Donald Trump took office, boy, that woke kind of went to the side a little bit. And if you hear anybody trying to use the they, them, those, we kind of look at get over it. Choose a side, choose a side, pick a being. I don't care what being, but pick a being. And I don't think they realize the impact that what you and I do as far as information and the platform that we have been blessed to be a part of together and along with so many other people. I don't think they really kind of understood just how much this generation, so you've dumbed down for enough generations. And I think what happened is because of COVID and how restricted our youth became, that there in turn ignited, like, wait a minute. And they started doing their own research. And then everything started kicking in. And, the point now is there is a lot of information, but it is up to us, you and I who led the way to create the platforms and what they would call a safe space.
Yeah, but this is what I find interesting. So COVID actually helped people like me and you. I mean, It really did, because see, I was renting space out from radio stations and what have you, and I was kind of cramped because I kind of had to go with what they would want me to like. Now, Donna, not so much. Okay, we like what you're saying, but not so much, because it's making me look bad. I own this station, blah, 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 blah. Then, because of COVID, I have asthma. And so the person I was renting the space from said, you make me nervous being here because of your asthma. I'm afraid you're going to get COVID and you'll wind up with a respirator and all this kind of stuff. And she said, talk show hosts now are actually working out of spare bedrooms in their homes. She said, you can do that. And I said, I don't think I'm disciplined enough. I don't think I can do that. And she said, but you've got to. Best thing that ever happened.
Right.
The absolute best thing that ever happened to my career. I didn't have to rent space anymore. I do it my way. I don't have to worry anymore. And then thank God for the Newscaster studio and for Abundant Television. I'm just
Yeah, and it's
guys,
it's interesting because I knew with putting together the Newscasters studio, and at the time it was like, what am I going to do? And I kept saying, Father, I know there's something that I'm being drawn to, but I don't feel like I'm qualified. What right do I have? This is going to take a lot. And he was like, well, you can't do much of anything now at COVID. So I went back and finished my degree and in theology. And it's like, so now it's like, you know what, how can I not do what he put in front of me? It's like, I don't even have to question anymore. You went back and earned a degree, Victoria. You now can listen to what's inside of you, which is interesting, but it is, I didn't know also what to do. And I knew things were changing, but I knew it was important for me in order to continue that I had to find the balance inside of myself. And that's what you and I have done. We had to understand enough of what we're bringing to the table and what we're trying to accomplish here in order to do it. And we've been doing it for quite a while now. It's almost to the point where we have people that are jumping on and doing what we're doing. And it's kind of, and you see them, skyrocketing and you're like, wait a minute, we were in the forefront here. Where are you going? But I do know that everything serves its purpose. And you and I were trailblazers. I mean, we just took a chair, took a light, put a light on, put a computer on, and hi, we're here with an opinion.
Something, we had more listeners than we thought we did, because what happens is the other side wants you to think you got nobody. You're out there talking to yourself. Well, apparently we had a lot of folks listening to us. We just didn't know.
No, and that was the greatest thing about doing all that I did for the Newscasters studio, because all of the foundation that I have built. Now, I started on this journey in 2004. So I've been doing this a real long time. And it's just so interesting now, since Donald J. Trump came into office. It's interesting how many people have come to the Newscaster studio. As you can see, with our studios, every time you turn around, there's a new channel, a new studio up. I mean, and it's been incredible to watch people know that they have something to say and find a place where they can say it. Because let's face it, what was happening with the last administration, it started shutting everybody up. Everybody was afraid to say anything for the simple backlash and how easy it was on social media for half the country to gang up on you. I mean, it was, it wasn't funny. So it's nice to know that we now are at a place where the dialogue has changed. And I think that's what we needed. I think we truly needed a dialogue, even though we had you and I and, certain media outlets saying the same thing. Bottom line is we were being drowned out. People didn't want to hear anymore. They just thought that, they didn't care about what was coming across the border. It's like, wait a minute, because it wasn't reported on. And that was the really sad thing. And that's why I'm really happy with the Newscasters studio, because now we have studios where somebody who really does have something to say or has an experience or something, we have a place where it can be said now. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was all about. I had no idea, Donna, when I started on this journey in 2004, that what would happen to our mainstream media happened. I remember sitting here going, CBS, NBC, Fox News, CNN. How am I ever going to compete with my little news company? But the thing is, I didn't know that it would also have the platform that it has. And it's not just for me, and I didn't do anything alone. This was a lot of people who were sick and tired of being sick and tired and not being heard. We have a generation of people and men and women who have fought in wars, who have built businesses, who have accomplished so much, and yet their strength, their hope, and their experience really had no place to be refiltered and to be, refurbished, so to say. And that's what we do. We bring people, if you've got something to say, come on and say it. You know what I'm saying? There's no age limit. And if you don't want to do and be seen, you could do audio. Or if you don't want to do audio, you can write blogs on our Insight page. There's a lot of ways today, and that's what the blessing is. There are a lot of ways for people like you and I, for the word to get out there, for people to share their strength, their hope, and their experiences, because there are so many out there that want to hear the viewpoint. All right, what is our political viewpoint, and where do we stand? Do you know what I'm saying? And then again, we can go and we can talk about on a variety of things. That's what's so wonderful about being able to have a platform. I mean, I watch you, and there's Donna with the news, and there's Donna on a farm, and there's Donna in an antique store. What a wonderful blessing it is, no?
It's wonderful. I absolutely love this life. I couldn't ask for anything any better, where you can actually get out there and you can be you. But let me tell you something. Sometimes we're beat down because we think there's a power in numbers on the other side. And the reason I'm saying that, I have a friend, his name is Dave. Dave went to work several years ago for CNN, and he actually worked some on the Nancy Grace show. He's from Anniston, Alabama. Oh boy, he thought he was going to be flying high. It didn't take him but a week. And he said, those people beat me up. The people at CNN. He said they talk about him, they make fun. I mean, these are the very people who say they love everybody. Okay, they're flower children, all this stuff. They are the most hateful bunch of people on earth. I'm just telling you, because if you don't go along with them, they'll beat you down.
And that's it. Yeah. And it's funny.
Again. He said, you know what? The money wasn't worth it. It just wasn't worth it. And he said, they're clamping me down. And so he met me at a show in Fort Payne. And that's when we were talking about it. And I said, man, you're CNN. My goodness, dude, you're doing great. And he said, I hate it there. He said, I don't have a voice.
Right.
They were just constantly, it's like they needed a conservative they could beat up on, and he was it. And he did okay for a while, but it was just like, I'm just tired of it. He said, just keep on and on and on and on and on. And it's like they wouldn't eat lunch with him. It was just silly little, like childhood play out in a playground, like kids can act sometimes. That's how they act over there. But so we're all together. We're making it happen. I'm just telling you, we have more listeners than we think we have.
Yeah. I really didn't know. I mean, I'm starting to see it now, but it's interesting, and I don't know where it ever came from, but I just know that I just got to keep putting it ahead and keep putting it ahead, because I'm learning there are so many people that have such cool things to share. And, and a lot of people are also, you and I have learned to sing for our supper. And I've always worked in a field where I had to earn by what I did is how I earned my living. I never, I remember getting a job once and you got paid every 2 weeks. I looked and I laughed and I want to thank you all so very much. But if you think that I've been in a business where I can make money every single day. Mm-hmm. If you think I can wait 2 weeks, I can't do this. I'm sorry. I can't take this job. And I just couldn't. And what I think people are finding is that they themselves have a lot more than they've been told or given themselves credit for. And they are taking that leap and doing things. And technology is so interesting. Let's face it. I mean, technology is, I am in awe of what I've been able to do. And it's just, you got to just take the time and learn it.
Well, but I'm really you meet people all over the world. You meet people all over the country. I mean, it's so fascinating what we do. Like I just finished up an interview with Don Brown in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so he's running for U.S. Senate. And so having him on the show was, as a matter of fact, one of those shows is going to be on the Newscaster studio. So you guys are going to have to really look it out. So this guy totally goes against the status quo. Okay, so he's for fair tax. That's part of his platform is fair tax. He said, and I said, why do you like fair tax? He said, to get rid of the IRS. And he said, basically, that's what Trump is doing with the tariffs.
Right.
Getting rid of the IRS. And people are sick of it. People are tired of because, they not only pick on us conservatives, okay, and try to put conservatives out of business, they can not like one thing you say, business is gone. And I think people are noticing. People are finally waking up to that.
That was my point. I think they're going to wake up even more when their children start coming home this year and when they come home this summer. I think parents are going to have a big difference in their kids coming home. I think their questions are going to be different. I think the college campuses, I know we still have the radicals in there, yes, but I do think our children have felt that their voice now, because they've only known the woke, let's face it, the woke from the time they were kidding. My child's 28. The critical theory math and all of that that was all these kids who are now stepping into the world. And these kids are saying, you know what? Whatever you people, the generation before we were doing, we don't want to do that. And that's why we're seeing a very big change. My daughter's 27. There is a definite change in that environment. I think too, because these are also the children, don't forget, who also didn't have a high school prom, who also, right. So,
no high school graduation, no flipping yeah.
They didn't have any of that. And now they're stepping into the world and saying, you know what? We're not agreeing. And it's kind of like our generation. Remember our parents and how, it was the 60s and 70s that fought back, but that was a social change at that time. I think we are also heading for another social change. So the more we give people a voice and the freedom of speech, the more dialogue can be open, the more people won't be afraid of being labeled or shut down. And if they are, there's more of a backbone that you kind of laugh at them, because stupid is as stupid does. And once a generation sees that, it's no longer going to be a threat. What do they say? It's like about you can sit there, and if it comes in, if a threat, and you sit there and stare at it long enough, eventually it gets up and moves away. So, and I think that's what happened. I think the big bad boogeyman to this generation that's changing is realizing that the fears of what was put into them is not their fears.
Well, see, I know a guy, and his parents own the landscaping business. And he told me once, he said, now he was raised with this, okay? So they would just blow money like crazy in the summertime because they're getting all this business, but they didn't put anything back for the winter months when they're not going to be landscaping. Now they made a ton of money, but they didn't think about saving some for the winter months when you got to pay bills as well. You got those high power bills and all that kind of stuff. And I remember him, he was actually wiser than his parents. He said, you know what? When I get out, I want to own my own business. He said, my parents do great. It's just that they're not good at putting back money for the winter months. And he said, if they would just adjust that, they wouldn't be asking me if they could borrow.
When I learned that about people? I learned that when I came to California and I worked on Catalina Island. And I would watch all of these hotels and restaurants. And, I was in the hair salon and I ran the comedy club. But I spent my time with these people and it was amazing because I worked on Catalina for 4 years year round. I was floored, Donna, how in the end of August, there's a name for it, summer burnout. And they're all ready to pack it all in. But nobody plans. I'm telling you. There is nothing but drunk islanders on Catalina all winter long. And it's so funny because none of them save for the winter months. I found it to be incredible how a whole society of people on this beautiful island could make so much money during the summer. And as soon as the winter came, because there was no tourists, you weren't selling anything in the tourist shop, your restaurants, you're not making money because there's no tourists, and really in the winter. Mm-hmm. And I just found it, like you said, I found it amazing how people did not plan at all. I think they did a story about that. Didn't they do that with squirrels and nuts or something?
And bees.
Wasn't there a story?
Bees put it back for the winter. They put it back for the winter. Let's go into a commercial. Can you believe over half the show already gone? So everybody, hang in there. We're going to be right back.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. It does matter. Thank you so much for watching every day, beginning at 2 p.m., and that is on the Eastern time zone. As I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, we are loving the Carolinas. Thank you guys so much for welcoming us into this area. We're definitely loving it. I love living. This is a little paradise right here. I'm just telling you, this has got it going on. So you can find us on television, on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast now on the Newscasters.com. Got Victoria Lee Scott with us right now. And Victoria, you've headed it up. And I'm just going to tell you, Clint brags on you all the time. So I'm recording with
it's actually quite wonderful. It really is. I'm heading to Miami. I'm doing Trump Doral May 1st and 2nd. I'm going to meet up with Christy Hutcherson down there. I guess they're doing the Truth Seekers Conference. So I'm heading down to cover that, which should be very exciting in Miami. So I'm heading, I've just booked a trip and I said, you know what? I'm going to go down and see. There are 47 different speakers. I thought it would be great to do some live interviews, to do some photo op, and so that's where I'm heading, May 1st and 2nd. I didn't know if I'd be able to do it because May 1st is my daughter's birthday, and I was just like, and
she was like, my son's birthday.
When is?
May 2nd.
Oh, Oh, girl. Oh, we got little bulls, don't we? Little Taurus bulls.
So yeah, it's exciting, to watch your kids grow and evolve and just have it going on.
It really is. It really is. She's getting age now. I think she's fallen in love. She's gonna be 28 May 1st. So I think my daughter has fallen in love, and I love him. I really do. I absolutely
approval by Victoria Lee Scott.
Yeah, I really like him. A big old stamp for this one. Mm-hmm. So, and then I'm going to be heading back to Florida in August. My big brother's having a big birthday, so he's throwing a big party. And then I'm going to head to my high school reunion. My girlfriend's going with me to New York and Long Island. So everything should be fun, and try to spread the newscasters across the country is what I'm trying to do. If I have to go to every state by myself, I'm going to drop it somewhere.
Well, come to South Carolina. You'll have a place to stay.
I am serious. My dad has had his house. He had passed away in October, but my father, I loved it. He lived 6 miles north of the South Carolina border. I loved it. Him and I'm a car girl, so we would drive and he would just, and just show me everything. And we like antiquing. So to go through North Carolina, South Carolina, and find those little houses off the beaten paths, and it's just incredible. So I love it.
Pickers. I mean, it's like the Pickers all over again.
Yeah. Right? I love it. American Pickers. You gotta love it. That's exactly, that show had started the last time my dad and I did that. But he gets all excited. He'll find something like, come on, and he was just, my father was definitely a creator of good times. So when the first time he would take us to Great Adventure, the whole ride there, he is just on and on. The Runaway Railroad, you're going to be so scared. You got to get in the last car. And he would just build you all up. But, those things stay with me. So going to see him down in North Carolina will always stay with me. Those drive through the streets from North to South Carolina, and just doing some antiquing together was a memory I cherish.
Absolutely.
So what do you got? What are you growing these days? What is the thing to grow in South Carolina, Missy?
Everything. I mean, this is like the place. Okay. So first of all, the lady we bought the house from was an avid gardener at one time. Now everything is kind of thrown up because, failing health and stuff like that. Husband passed away. And so Phil and I, 8 acres of land. And so we're like 2 little kids. I mean, we just been like all over the land. And so we found some muscadine grapes. And there's two different areas with muscadine grapes. And let me tell you this, and this is what Trump's doing, okay? Trump is doing a massive pruning of trees. He's pruning the dead stuff off, the people who are abusing everything. So I got a good lesson of that. And Phil was talking about this. So we were out in this overgrown, just everything. Nothing can grow because there's dead wood all over the good stuff. And muscadines have to grow with one stem up like this. They start growing, and then they just kind of start growing out this way. And they're easy to pick that way. You'll get much more fruit production when you prune it back. Now it hurts it, okay? So when you first prune, there's a little what we call water bleed. A little bit of water comes off where you cut it. It's crying, but I don't know that it's crying for bad. I think it's crying for joy because you finally taken the dead stuff off of me. And that's what we're going to do as a country. We're going to be so proud when all this pruning is done. And all of the who are out there who have been spending our tax money on nonsense.
I see the numbers.
Oh my goodness.
The numbers
like that.
I am.
How long would you be in business if you spent if you're spending so much more money than you were bringing in? They'd come and shut your business down.
Yeah, well, the problem is they had to keep everything moving because once it stopped, we were going to see. You know what I'm saying? It's like the sleight of hand. Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. Then all of a sudden we put a halt on certain things and it's like, whoa, what is going on here? And then it's just even, what's that?
It's a revolution. We're coming out.
Well, the thing is, what I find very interesting is that they are giving him no time whatsoever. They want everything done yesterday. This admitted, how dare you allow our border to remain porously open the way that you did? And then yesterday, did you see that we have sent an ICE agent to arrest a criminal? And did you see that the judge now arrested the ICE agent for trying to arrest the criminal? Are you, what? So these are the things that have to come to light in order for us to change it. But I mean, you've got to be kidding me. We need our military to have their strength back. We need our police officers to have their strength back. We need our FBI and our CIA to once again put their hand up and take an oath to the United States of America. Because whatever oath that they were taking, none of them stood by it. So it has to be reinstituted.
Yeah, but aren't you feeling kind of a little bit of an earthquake evolving? I mean, think about this. Okay, so Trump is coming in. Elon Musk is just heaven sent, as far as I'm concerned. So
there's a big hammer.
We're hearing little eruptions, I think, that are happening right now. People are wising up. They're not afraid to speak out anymore because, and get this, military, it's like record number of people now joining the military. You know,
same thing with the FBI.
Sit and look at men with like mini skirts on and high heels. I mean,
it's
it's a man thing now. It's tough now. It's cool to be in military now.
Well, they have record number applications for the FBI. That was brand new. So the FBI also, and yeah, and I think let's look at it this way, because Donald Trump does everything like he's playing a game of chess, right? So and chess is done with a lot of patience and precision. I think what is going to come out, it will in the right time. Because it can't come out too soon because people will poo-poo it away because it'll probably be such a shock that half the country won't even want to look at it. But I think that by allowing everything to unfold as it is and to allow progress and to things to change for the better, which they are, there is going to come a time when the hammer is going to drop. I think when the administration realizes that America is ready to handle the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I'm ready now. I say let the hammer fall.
Right, but I know you and I are, because we have been ready for the last 10 years.
We're tired of it, yeah.
But the country isn't there yet. It will be. Well, let's face it, how long has he been in office? He hasn't been in office that very long. By his second year, wait till you see what comes out in his second year. Because he's going to ignite this country. We have in July 4th, the 250th anniversary of our country. This country's going to go America crazy. Then, when America is America crazy, then the real truth can start coming out because we'll be able to handle it. That's what I think. Then I'm just a girl trying to make it in this world.
The grapes, because all this pruning coming back, all the grapes and the muscadines are going to come out, and they're going to be ripe, and it's going to be just right. The grapes are not going to come out yet. You got to let them come on. There's got to be,
and that's my point.
And
we're saying the same thing. We need that, but that the healing, that's what's really wonderful is we are not. I think the greatest blessing is I'm looking. I've owned my hair salon for 30 years this year, And I've raised a lot of kids doing their hair from kindergarten, and now they're having babies themselves. But the wonderful thing is for you and I to look, we can see a generation that is changing. We can see a generation that is wearing a mega hat, that is not afraid of the flag, that will stand up for things. It is showing. We are, and it will. We need to let time and timing do what it's meant to do. Our job, your and my job, was to wake up this country. And we should be very proud of our internet radio shows, which are now podcasts. Uh-huh. We should be very proud of what we've done to help educate. I know I have. I was screaming on it. Is anybody out there? Is anybody not paying attention what the Obama administration doing? And nobody wanted to hear what the Obama administration was doing. And then we allowed the next administration. We had a little reprieve, which was an actual blessing when Trump came in, because I know as a small business owner how I saw my business and how my everything took a change. I didn't feel like I was just circling the drain. I mean, he gave me a little bit of breath. And then we got the next administration, which totally, we had to really dig in and fight back hard. But it wasn't that hard to fight back because, let's face it, they were idiots right across the board. Nothing they were saying held water. And all I kept saying for the last decade is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If you give America the truth, they will be able to make right decisions. But that's what we didn't realize, is that the American media stepped in and hid the truth. And they hid it quite well for a long time until the gig is up. You know, the American people aren't stupid. We saw what you did the first time around. We're not going to let it happen the second time around. Mm-hmm. And when Donald Trump said, we are going to make this too big to rig, it's exactly what he did. He made America too big to rig.
Everything they said about Donald Trump, you know, he's arrogant, he's into himself, he's this, he's that. He's nothing like any of that. He lets other people shine. He's letting Elon Musk shine. He's letting JD Vance shine. Did Elon kind of make you think a little bit of Ross Perot? You remember back in the day when Ross Perot was running for president? I voted for him. I loved him. I thought he's a pre-runner to Donald Trump. But
sure,
he had some employees who had been kidnapped, and so Ross Perot was out there, waiting on the government to get them. Well, they weren't moving fast enough, so he hired his own team of people to go out and get his kidnapped employees his own self. So Elon Musk did that with the space station last week. He just went on ahead and got them himself.
Yeah. Well, and then to top it off, when they had the nerve to ask Donald Trump about the overtime for those astronauts, do you know what Mr. Trump did? Mr. Trump said, he paid them out of his money. He paid the astronauts overtime. He said, is the government going to pay, arrogant as they were? And he said, no, I'll pay their overtime.
That is
when do we hear that?
That's a leader. That's what you call a leader.
Right.
That's a leader of our free world. And that's what we need now. And we got
it. And that's what we're starting. That is what we're seeing. We are seeing some wonderful people in positions. And let's face it, the Democrats better find something, because at this point they really have lost their voice. It's gone, Donna. I don't know who. I mean, Fetterman? I mean, who other? I mean,
say this because this guy's like a lunatic, but he actually makes more sense than any of the others. Like no sense, but he is actually the smartest of all the Democrats.
Yeah, and it's interesting too that the elderly did nothing to nurture, to mentor, to do anything to the next. They radicalized them, But the Democratic Party did not mentor, did not take care of the next generation because they didn't want the next generation. They thought they were just going to sit there and do what they were going to do. That's why they didn't prepare anybody. So now you find that they are so fractured. They have left nobody to pick up. It's not like you have the young Democrats that are ready to take the platform. They didn't do any of that. And then you wonder why the young Republicans are all over our college campuses wearing mega hats? Because we invested in them. They didn't invest. Mm-hmm. And now it's sad because now we need the exchange of voices and young voices. And what happened is our generation sat in those seats, and I knew it when they handed down during Obama the 2,700-page healthcare, the Obamacare. And when they sat down overnight and they handed that bill and not one Republican got up and dropped it on the floor and exited stage right, I knew darn well what they had done is they had done enough what Lawrence had put in his book. Remember, spread it all around. Remember what he said? Lawrence wrote it in his book. They all had their dirty little fingers in the pie, and none of them can stand up and fight against the Obama administration because they all sold themselves out. They sold their constituents and they sold their party out. And therefore, that's why they all had to fight. And that's why the money had to come in. And that's why they had to raise millions and become millionaires in those seats because they couldn't afford to lose them because of what they had done. And if one fell, they were all going to fall.
Yeah, but this is the point. They sold their souls to Satan. I mean,
they did. They sold it. Like whatever they do, the proof is in it. Let's face it. You know, we have things that we stand by. You take an oath. You don't think if you stand in front and take that oath under God, our money in God we trust. Serious? We've watched, look at the crimes done with the money in God we trust in our own government. So how do we possibly expect generations to follow and to have any faith in what we've witnessed?
Yeah, but
that's why now it's the blessing to come back and have people like Elon.
This is where people lost it with the government. Okay, so you got to think about Judge, can't even think of his name right now. I almost said his name. Okay, so Obamacare comes out, and it's supposed to be a conservative judge, right? You remember Judge Roberts. Okay, well, Judge Roberts, we thought, well, we're going to be okay because he's a conservative judge. He was the decision maker for Obamacare. Remember him?
Yes, 100%.
So then we all just started losing faith in the government. And then that's what they wanted us to do. They wanted us to live face to face and just think, well, just go on with our own lives. Who cares what they do? They're all corrupt anyway, but they're not all corrupt. There's some.
How many times
we're letting the good ones down by saying, oh, well, never mind.
No, here's what happened. So now you got Congress and the Senate. Now, how many years and how many times has this been tried? A town will elect someone and send them to the Senate or to Congress. Now, does a good person make the bad person good, or does the bad person make the good person bad?
Usually
what we came to find out in our government, no matter how good you were going in, the bad changed the good. And therefore, all you have to do is follow the money. If you want to see any corruption, just follow the money. And that's what we allowed. And then we allowed them to tell us that it wasn't so bad, that we should give them another chance and reelect them. How many have been reelected? How many? You got the one in Chicago, cocaine selling Marion Barry, and they elect him again. How does Maxine Waters keep getting elected? How the hell does Adam Schiff keep getting elected?
How Nancy Pelosi keeps getting reelected is beyond my comprehension. I mean, I just don't get it. It's just like this. Okay. And she was doing the Marie Antoinette. It was like, you know, I have my designer ice cream. You know, during COVID, when we all couldn't get out and go get any kind of ice cream, she had her designer ice cream and was showing it off. So I'm
No.
all these people who were still voting for her. That would have been enough for me to say, honey, my vote's not going to be cast away. You go eat your ice cream and eat it now because you're not going to get any more out of my tax money.
Well, how about when she walked through the hair salon with wet hair and then had the nerve to take it out on the hairdresser? And she never once took responsibility, but destroyed that woman's life.
Uh-huh.
Destroyed her business. And it was Nancy, who we couldn't go out or do anything, who was caught in her gown in the hair salon with wet hair going from the shampoo bowl to the chair. With no mask on.
And then what about this? What about your Walmarts could still sell clothes and they could still, and then your Susie's dress shop had to shut down.
No, the liquor store you could buy alcohol in Walmart, but AA you couldn't go to an AA meeting. Tell me that wasn't a scam.
Church, but you could have
we couldn't have church in a parking lot because we were going to spread it from our cars. You think they're ever going to do that to us again?
But now the bar across the street could be open 24/7. It didn't matter about that because
we couldn't have parties. You could only have 25 guests to your wedding. Are you serious? And yet, look at you remember? And then Newsom.
What about virtual weddings?
Serious? Because they were trying
where a family couldn't go see somebody.
That was there, and look how close they came to really destroying. I mean, they'll never be able to do that again. We learned our lesson. They are never going to anymore. Okay, they are never going to shut us down again.
Well, I wonder what my husband would have said if I had said, "Hey, Phil, let's have a Zoom wedding." He would have said, "I'll wait to you."
It's not funny, but I actually went to a Zoom funeral.
What?
I did. I went to a Zoom funeral.
Oh, wow. I don't know what to say.
I know. I didn't know either until I got an invite. For the wake. I'm like, I can't make it there. It's out of state. No, it's on Zoom. I'm like, you're having your mother's funeral on Zoom? And you saw the children speak. It was all on Zoom. I went to a Zoom. I did. I'm not kidding. I went to a funeral on Zoom. So do me a favor. Don't Zoom my funeral, Donna.
I won't. I promise. If somebody wants to,
I won't Zoom my
do that. I've got it on tape. I've got it on tape with her saying that, Victoria, we got to call it a day. You got somewhere you got to go. An hour is already gone.
But I do want to know.
Show with me.
I do want to let you know that I am very blessed. We are blessed at the Newscaster studio because I don't know if you know, but we have been chosen as part of the new media team for the White House. So we get press releases all day long from the White House, JD Vance. I know the day before where he's going to be, what's going on. It's an absolute blessing. And I make sure I let the White House know, thank you for remembering the little guy. But it is a blessing to see an email every morning throughout the day from the White House. It really is. And I had to actually send a letter back thanking them that, you know, we are what America is built upon. We have people that have something to say, and this is the place to have them say it. So I thank you so much for always having me on because it is a blast.
Of course. Can you hang around just for a few minutes so I can get you on for next month?
You got it.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching Donna's Edge Talk Show. You can find us on Abundant Television, syndicated, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the Newscasters on the newscasters.com. See you later. Bye-bye.